Myra woke up before the sun. The small room she lived in was quiet and still. Outside, the sky was just starting to change from dark blue to light gray. Every morning, Myra felt the same mix of nervousness and hope. Today, like every day, she would go to the big house where she worked as a maid. The mansion was huge and very beautiful. It had tall windows that shone when the sun hit them, and gardens with many flowers that smelled sweet. But inside, it felt cold and empty. Myra had worked there for almost 2 years now. She cleaned the floors, dusted the shelves, and made sure everything was perfect. Mr. Rowan, the owner of the house, was a rich man. He was quiet and serious. People said he was hard to please and did not like visitors. Myra had only spoken to him a few times. Each time, he spoke softly but with little smile. Myra always felt nervous around him, but she tried to do her best. Every day, Myra wore a simple black dress and a small bracelet on her wrist. The bracelet was old and a little broken, but Myra never took it off. It was made of tiny black beads and had a small silver charm shaped like a leaf. She touched it often when she felt tired or worried. The bracelet was a gift from her mother, and it reminded Myra of hope and kindness. Myra's mornings were busy. She cleaned the big rooms, helped the cook in the kitchen, and made sure the bedrooms were neat. Sometimes, she saw the other workers smile or joke, but Myra kept to herself. She did not have many friends, and she liked it that way. The world outside was hard, and the mansion felt like a safe place for her. One rainy day, Myra was cleaning the long hallway near the study. The rain hit the windows with soft taps, making the room feel quieter than usual. She carefully dusted the shelves, not wanting to knock anything over. Suddenly, she heard footsteps behind her. She turned quickly and saw Mr. Rowan walking toward her. He stopped and looked at her wrist. "That is an unusual bracelet," he said, his voice calm but curious. Myra's heart beat faster. She did not expect him to talk to her. She smiled softly and said, "It was my mother's. She told me it was special." Mr. Rowan nodded and looked away. Myra saw something in his eyes she had never seen before, something sad and soft. Then he said, "I should go now. Keep it safe." After he left, Myra touched the bracelet and thought about her mother. Her mother was a strong woman who had taught Myra to be kind even when life was hard. Myra's mother had many stories about helping others and never giving up. Myra felt proud to wear the bracelet and remember her mother's lessons. Days passed, and the bracelet stayed on Myra's wrist. But now, Mr. Rowan's words stayed in her mind. Who was he before he became the man she saw every day? Why did the bracelet mean something to him? Myra did not know, but she wanted to find out. One afternoon, Myra found a quiet corner in the garden. She sat on a stone bench and looked at the flowers. The rain had stopped, and the sun was shining through the clouds. She held her wrist and whispered, "I hope one day, you will understand what this bracelet means to me." In the house, Mr. Rowan sat in his study, looking at old papers and photographs. He did not notice the time passing. His mind was far away, remembering things from long ago. Things he did not often think about. The bracelet Myra wore brought back memories of a time when he was not rich or powerful, but just a lost boy trying to find his way. He remembered a small village, a kind woman, and a simple bracelet. A bracelet that had been given to him when he had nothing else. He remembered the warmth of her hands and the hope she gave him. He wiped a tear from his eye and turned back to the papers, but the feeling stayed. That night, Myra went to bed feeling both tired and curious. She dreamed of the mansion, the bracelet, and the man who seemed more than just a boss. In her dream, the bracelet glowed softly, and a gentle voice whispered, "Keep hope alive." Myra woke up with the sun again. She was ready to start another day, with a small smile and a secret wish in her heart. She did not know what the future would bring, but she knew one thing: sometimes, even the smallest things, like a bracelet, could change everything. The next morning, Myra woke up with the same quiet feeling in her chest, a mix of hope and curiosity. The bracelet on her wrist felt heavier, as if it carried a story waiting to be told. She got ready quickly and left her small room, stepping out into the cool air of the early day. The mansion was still calm and peaceful when Myra arrived in the big hall. The floors were shiny, the windows letting in the soft light of the sun. Myra moved carefully, as always, cleaning the large rooms and making sure nothing was out of place. As she passed the study, she noticed the door slightly open. Usually, Mr. Rowan kept it closed tight, but today, there was a small gap. She paused for a moment, listening. Inside, she could hear the faint sound of papers rustling and a soft sigh. Her fingers brushed the bracelet on her wrist. She thought about the last time Mr. Rowan had stopped to look at it. Why had he seemed so interested? Myra did not understand, but her heart told her this bracelet was more important than she had thought. Curious but careful, Myra continued her work nearby. After some time, Mr. Rowan came out of the study. He was holding a small, old box in his hands. His eyes were tired but kind. He looked at Myra and said, "Can you come here for a moment?" Myra was surprised. She nodded quickly and walked to him. Mr. Rowan held out the box and opened it slowly. Inside was a bracelet, almost the same as Myra's, but this one was newer and shinier. The tiny beads were black, and there was a silver leaf charm, just like hers. "I keep this bracelet safe because it means a lot to me," he said quietly. "But when I saw yours, it reminded me of something from my past." Myra's eyes grew wide. She looked down at her own bracelet and then back at Mr. Rowan. "Your past?" she asked softly. "Yes," he replied. "A long time ago, before I had this house or any of the things I have now, I was lost. I was a boy with no home and no family. A kind woman took care of me for a little while. She gave me a bracelet like this one." Myra listened carefully. She had never heard Mr. Rowan speak like this before. His voice was soft, almost like he was talking to a friend instead of a stranger. "I never forgot her kindness," he continued. "That bracelet was a reminder to keep going, to believe in good even when everything seemed dark." He smiled gently. "Now, seeing your bracelet, I wonder if there is a connection." Myra's heart beat faster. She felt like something important was about to happen. "My mother said the bracelet was from a woman who helped her when she was young," Myra said. "She told me to always be kind, no matter what." Mr. Rowan nodded slowly. "Kindness can change everything," he said. "Even the smallest act can give hope to someone who feels lost." For a moment, they both stood quietly, looking at the bracelets in their hands. It was like the two bracelets were telling a story, one of hope, care, and memories from the past. Then, Mr. Rowan looked at Myra with a new warmth in his eyes. "Would you tell me more about your mother?" he asked. Myra smiled shyly. She was a strong woman. She worked hard and always helped others, even when she had little. She touched her bracelet again. She believed kindness was the most important thing in life. Mr. Rowan nodded. "I wish I had known her. Maybe she and the woman who helped me were the same." Myra's eyes sparkled with hope. "Maybe," she said softly. Just then, a gentle breeze moved through the open window, carrying the scent of flowers from the garden outside. It was as if the mansion itself was listening to their story. Mr. Rowan closed the box carefully and looked at Myra with a quiet smile. "Thank you for sharing this with me," he said. "I feel like this is the start of something new." Myra nodded, feeling a strange but wonderful feeling inside. For the first time, she saw Mr. Rowan not just as her boss but as someone who had a story too, a story filled with kindness, loss, and hope. As the day went on, Myra found herself thinking more about the bracelet and the memories it carried. She felt connected to Mr. Rowan in a way she never expected. Maybe, just maybe, their lives were about to change. That evening, Myra sat by her window, holding her bracelet gently. The sky was painted with soft colors of orange and pink. She whispered, "Thank you for keeping me safe, even when we didn't know each other." At the same time, in the study, Mr. Rowan looked at the old photographs on his desk. His eyes were bright with new hope. The bracelet on his desk caught the last rays of the sun, shining like a small light in the quiet room. Outside the mansion, the world was moving fast. But inside, two hearts, connected by a small bracelet, were beginning to understand the power of kindness and the importance of remembering where they came from. Myra did not know what tomorrow would bring, but she was ready to face it with hope, courage, and the bracelet that held so much more than just beads and silver. It held stories, memories, and the promise that even the smallest things can change a life forever. The next morning, Mr. Rowan woke earlier than usual. His thoughts were heavy with the memory of the bracelet and the story Myra had shared the day before. He sat by the large window in his study, staring outside where the garden flowers sway gently in the morning breeze. For the first time in a long time, his mind was not on business, deals, or money. Instead, it was filled with something else, a memory locked deep inside him, a memory he had kept hidden for many years. When he was a boy, much younger than now, he had been lost. His parents had passed away, and he had no home to go to. The city was cold and lonely for a child like him. But in a small village, far away from the busy streets and tall buildings, there had been a woman, a kind woman who took him in. She was simple, with soft hands and a warm smile. She did not have much, but she gave him food, shelter, and something even more important, hope. She had given him a small bracelet, made of black beads and a silver leaf charm just like the one Myra wore now. "Keep it close," she told him softly. "It will remind you that you are never truly alone." Mr. Rowan's eyes filled with tears as he remembered her voice. He had not thought about that time for many years, but now, holding Myra's bracelet in his mind, the memories came back like a gentle wave. He could see the woman's face again, the wrinkles around her eyes, the kindness in her smile. He remembered the stories she told him, stories of hope and strength, and how she taught him to believe in goodness, even when life was hard. Slowly, he reached for an old box tucked away in a corner of his study. Inside were photographs and letters from his childhood, kept safe but forgotten. He opened the box carefully, his hands shaking slightly. There was a photograph of the woman. She looked tired but happy, holding a young boy close. The bracelet was clear on the boy's wrist, the same black beads and silver leaf charm. Mr. Rowan's heart ached. He wished he could thank her, tell her how much she had changed his life. But she had disappeared soon after, and he had never known her name or where she went. For many years, he had lived alone, building his business and making a life for himself. But now, looking at the photo and thinking about Myra's bracelet, he felt something shift inside him, a deep need to connect the past with the present. He thought of Myra. She wore the bracelet every day, just like he once did. Could her mother be the kind woman who helped him? Could the bracelet be a sign, a link between their stories? The thought made him want to know more. He wanted to hear Myra's story, to learn about her mother and the kindness she had given. Later that day, he found Myra working quietly in the kitchen. She was washing dishes, her bracelet shining softly in the afternoon light. He hesitated but then walked over and gently asked, "Myra, would you sit with me for a moment? I want to hear more about your mother." Myra looked up, surprised but willing. She followed him to the study, where the old photographs lay on the desk. Mr. Rowan showed her the picture of the woman who had helped him long ago. Myra's eyes widened. She looked closely, and then, with a quiet voice, she said, "That looks like my mother." Mr. Rowan nodded slowly. "She was a very special woman," he said. She helped a lost boy when he had nothing. She gave him hope and kindness. Myra smiled softly, holding her bracelet. My mother always said kindness was the most important thing in life, she said. Even when things were hard, she never stopped believing in good. For a moment, they sat in silence, two people connected by memories and a simple bracelet. The room felt warmer, filled with a quiet understanding that went beyond words. Mr. Rowan then spoke gently, "Your mother gave me something I could never forget. She saved me when I was lost. And now, seeing this bracelet on you, I feel like a part of her story is still alive." Myra's eyes filled with tears. She had never imagined that the bracelet she wore could mean so much to someone else. She touched it gently, feeling the weight of the past and the hope of the future. That day marked a new beginning for both of them. Mr. Rowan started to open his heart slowly, sharing stories he had kept locked away. Myra, too, felt a new strength, knowing that her mother's kindness had touched a life in a way she had never known. As the sun set, painting the sky in soft colors of orange and pink, the mansion no longer felt cold and empty. It felt alive with stories and memories, with hope and kindness that could never be forgotten. Myra returned to her small room that night, holding her bracelet tightly. She whispered a silent thank you to her mother and to the woman who had changed a boy's life so many years ago. And somewhere deep inside, Mr. Rowan looked at the bracelet on his desk and smiled, knowing that sometimes, the smallest things like a simple bracelet could unlock the greatest memories and the deepest emotions. The past and the present had come together in a way neither of them expected. And now, their stories were woven together, tied by kindness, hope, and the bracelet that held so much more than just beads and silver. The following morning, the mansion felt different. The usual quietness had a new warmth. Myra moved through the rooms with a lighter heart, while Mr. Rowan sat in his study, thinking about the connection they had begun to share. There was a gentle hope in the air, a feeling that something important was about to happen. Mr. Rowan decided to learn more about Myra's mother. He wanted to understand the woman who had helped him long ago and now lived on in Myra's memories and bracelet. But he knew Myra might not have many answers. After all, she was young, and her mother had kept much of her past a secret. During a quiet moment, Mr. Rowan found Myra near the garden. She was carefully watering the flowers, her bracelet shining softly in the sunlight. He approached her slowly and said, "Myra, may I ask you something? Can you tell me more about your mother, about her life, where she came from?" Myra looked at him thoughtfully. She wiped her hands on her dress and nodded. "I can try," she said softly. She led him to a small bench under the old oak tree. The garden was peaceful, with birds singing and leaves rustling in the wind. Myra took a deep breath and began her story. "My mother grew up in a village far from here," she said. "It was a small place, surrounded by trees and fields. They did not have much money, but they had each other. My mother was always kind, even when things were hard. She helped neighbors, friends, and strangers whenever she could." Mr. Rowan listened carefully. He pictured the village in his mind, a quiet place filled with simple lives and strong hearts. "One day," Myra continued, "my mother told me about a boy she helped when she was young. He had no home, no family. She found him hungry and cold and gave him food and shelter. She made him a bracelet with beads and a silver leaf to remind him that kindness never ends." Mr. Rowan's heart beat faster. "Did she ever tell you where she met this boy?" he asked gently. Myra shook her head. "No, she never said. But she always told me to believe in kindness and to never give up, no matter what happens." Mr. Rowan smiled softly. "Your mother's kindness changed my life," he said quietly. "She gave me hope when I had none. That bracelet was my reminder to keep going." Myra looked surprised but happy. "I think she would like to know that," she said. "She never wanted anyone to forget her." Mr. Rowan nodded. "We will not forget her," He promised. Her kindness will live in both of us. For a moment, they sat quietly, feeling the weight of the story and the power of memories. The bracelet on Myra's wrist seemed to glow with a new light, a symbol of hope passed from one life to another. Later that day, Mr. Rowan found an old photo album in his study. It was full of pictures from his childhood and youth, photos of the village, the small houses, and people he once knew. He looked carefully, hoping to find a clue about the woman who helped him. To his surprise, he found a photo of a woman standing in front of a small house. She wore simple clothes and had a gentle smile. In her hand was a bracelet, just like the one Myra wore. He stared at the picture, feeling a deep connection. This was the woman. The same woman Myra's mother had spoken about. Mr. Rowan realized that their stories were more connected than he had ever imagined. The bracelet was more than just a piece of jewelry, it was a bridge between past and present, between two lives shaped by kindness and love. He decided to share this discovery with Myra. That evening, he invited her to his study and showed her the photograph. Myra looked at it carefully, her eyes wide with wonder. "That is my mother," she said softly. "I have never seen a picture of her before." Mr. Rowan smiled kindly. "She was a remarkable woman," he said. "Her kindness saved me when I was lost. And now, through you and this bracelet, her story lives on." Myra felt tears in her eyes. She reached out and touched the photo gently, as if feeling the warmth of her mother's spirit. From that day, something changed between Mr. Rowan and Myra. They began to talk more, not just about work, but about dreams, hopes, and memories. The mansion, once cold and quiet, became a place filled with soft laughter and quiet conversations. Myra found herself sharing stories about her mother's lessons, and Mr. Rowan shared memories of the village and the people who had shaped his early life. They both learned from each other, and their bond grew stronger. One afternoon, as Myra helped in the kitchen, Mr. Rowan called her to the garden. He handed her a small box wrapped in soft cloth. "It's for you," he said softly. Myra opened the box carefully and found a beautiful bracelet inside. It was new but made in the same style as hers, with black beads and a silver leaf charm. "I want you to have this," Mr. Rowan said. "A symbol of the kindness your mother gave to me, and now, to you." Myra's eyes filled with tears. She looked at him, grateful and touched. "Thank you," she whispered. "I will wear it always." That evening, Myra sat by her window, holding the new bracelet in one hand and her mother's old bracelet in the other. She felt the past and present come together like two pieces of a puzzle fitting perfectly. The bracelet was more than just a gift. It was a promise that kindness would never be forgotten, and that the stories of love and hope would continue to live in the hearts of those who believed. And so, in the quiet mansion surrounded by flowers and sunlight, two lives were changed by a simple bracelet, a bracelet that carried the power of the past and the hope for the future. Days passed peacefully in the mansion. The bond between Myra and Mr. Rowan grew stronger with each shared story and quiet moment. The bracelets on Myra's wrist, the old one from her mother and the new one from Mr. Rowan, felt like a bridge connecting their hearts. One afternoon, while Myra was cleaning the study, she noticed a small envelope tucked behind some old books on the shelf. It was yellowed with age and had no stamp or address. Curious, she carefully pulled it out and saw that it was sealed with a red wax mark. Her fingers trembled slightly as she broke the seal and opened the letter inside. The handwriting was neat but faded, and the paper smelled like something old and precious. The letter began with the words, "To the one who finds this letter, I hope it brings you hope and answers. My name is Amara, and I am the woman who once gave a bracelet to a lost boy." Myra's heart raced. She read on carefully. "That boy was Mr. Rowan. I took him into my home when he had nowhere to go. I taught him kindness, hope, and the strength to believe in a better future. The bracelet I gave him was a symbol of that promise." Tears welled up in Myra's eyes as she read the letter. She could feel the warmth and love in Amara's words. The letter continued, "I never expected to be forgotten or unknown. I only wished that the boy I helped would carry the light of kindness in his heart and pass it on to others. If you are reading this, perhaps the promise is still alive." Myra's mind raced. This letter was the missing piece, the story of the woman who had helped Mr. Rowan, who Myra's mother had also spoken about. The woman named Amara. She looked around the quiet study, feeling a deep connection to the past. She folded the letter carefully and held it close. At that moment, Mr. Rowan entered the room. He noticed the letter in Myra's hand and the tears on her face. "What is it?" he asked gently. Myra looked up and smiled through her tears. "A letter," she said softly. "From Amara, the woman who helped you. She wrote this for whoever finds it. She wanted her story to live on." Mr. Rowan's eyes filled with emotion. He reached out and took the letter from Myra's hand. For a moment, they stood together, feeling the weight of the words and the love behind them. "That means so much," he said quietly. "Amara's kindness changed my life. And now, through you and this letter, it will continue to change others." Myra nodded. "I want to learn more about her," she said. "And about the village she lived in." Mr. Rowan smiled. "Then let's find out." Over the next days, they worked together to learn more about Amara and the village she came from. Mr. Rowan contacted old friends and neighbors from his childhood, asking about the kind woman who had helped him so long ago. One afternoon, a letter arrived from a small town near the village. It was from an old woman who remembered Amara well. She described Amara's gentle nature, her love for the people around her, and her quiet strength during hard times. "She was like a light in the darkness," the letter said. "Always helping, always caring. The village loved her." Myra read the letter with tears of joy. She felt proud to be connected to such a woman. Mr. Rowan looked at Myra and said, "Amara's kindness has built a bridge between us. It is a reminder that even the smallest acts can change a life." One evening, as the sun set, Myra and Mr. Rowan sat in the garden, holding their bracelets and the letter. They spoke about hope, kindness, and the power of love that never fades. Myra whispered, "I want to live by her example. To be kind, no matter what." Mr. Rowan smiled. "And I will help you. Together, we can carry her light forward." That night, Myra lay in her small room, feeling a new strength inside her. She held the letter close and looked at her bracelets. The past was no longer distant, it was alive, and it had become a part of her. She knew that her life was about to change in ways she had never imagined. The bracelet, the letter, and the stories of kindness were gifts, a promise to never forget where she came from and to always believe in a better tomorrow. Outside the mansion, the stars shone brightly, as if lighting the path for Myra and Mr. Rowan. Their hearts were full, and their spirits lifted by the power of hope and the secret in the letter. The journey was far from over, but with each step, they moved closer to understanding the true meaning of kindness, family, and the magic held in a simple bracelet. The days grew warmer as summer slowly moved into the town. The flowers in the mansion's garden blossomed brightly, and the sun seemed to shine a little kinder on everyone. Myra felt that same warmth inside her heart, like a new beginning was unfolding. After finding the letter from Amara, Myra and Mr. Rowan had started to share more moments together, learning about each other's pasts and dreams. Mr. Rowan had become less distant, and Myra saw the softer side of the man behind the millionaire title. One morning, Mr. Rowan called Myra into his study. He was sitting behind his large desk, looking thoughtful but calm. "Myra," he said, "I have been thinking a lot about Amara's story and your mother's kindness. It's time we do something more than just remember them." Myra looked at him, curious. "What do you mean?" she asked. "I want to create a place, a center where people who are lost or struggling can find help," Mr. Rowan explained. "A place where kindness is real, not just words." A place inspired by Amara and your mother's love. Myra's eyes lit up. That sounds wonderful, she said. But how will we do it? Mr. Rowan smiled gently. I will use my resources and connections. But I will need your help to make sure it feels like home to those who come. Myra nodded eagerly. I will help in any way I can. Over the next few weeks, they began planning. The mansion had plenty of land around it, with space for a small building and a garden where people could relax. Mr. Rowan hired architects and builders to start the project. Myra helped by sharing ideas about what people might need: a place to rest, to talk, to learn new skills, and to feel cared for. The project gave Myra new hope. Every day, she watched as the building grew, seeing the walls rise and the garden take shape. It was a symbol of kindness made real, a dream turned into a place where others could find peace. One afternoon, as Myra worked in the garden, she noticed a young boy sitting alone near the fence. He looked tired and sad, his clothes worn and his eyes full of questions. Myra felt her heart ache, remembering how Amara had helped a lost boy just like him. She approached gently and smiled. Hello, she said softly. Are you okay? The boy looked up, surprised. I don't have anywhere to go, he said quietly. I'm hungry and scared. Myra knelt down beside him. You are not alone, she said kindly. There is a place being built right here. It will be a safe home for people like you. Would you like to come and see it? The boy nodded slowly. Yes, please. Myra took his hand and led him toward the building. Mr. Rowan was there, speaking with the workers. When he saw the boy, he smiled warmly and welcomed him. This is just the beginning, Mr. Rowan said. We will help you and many others. No one should ever feel lost or alone. The boy's eyes brightened for the first time in a long while. Myra could see hope growing inside him, just as it had once grown inside her. As the days passed, more people came to the center. Some needed food, some needed a place to sleep, and some just needed someone to listen. Myra and Mr. Rowan worked together, making sure each person felt welcome and cared for. The mansion, once just a house, had become a home for many. It was filled with laughter, stories, and the quiet strength of kindness. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Myra and Mr. Rowan sat on the porch, watching the world grow soft in the fading light. Thank you, Myra said quietly, for believing in this dream and in me. Mr. Rowan looked at her with gentle eyes. Thank you for reminding me what kindness truly means, he replied. You have changed my life, Myra. They sat in comfortable silence, feeling the promise of tomorrow in the air. That night, Myra held her bracelets close, one from her mother, one from Mr. Rowan. They were more than just jewelry now, they were symbols of hope, strength, and the power of love that can heal even the deepest wounds. As Myra drifted to sleep, she dreamed of a future where kindness was never forgotten, where every lost soul could find a home, and where the story of Amara, her mother, and Mr. Rowan would live on in every act of care. The road ahead would not always be easy, but Myra knew they were walking it together, one step at a time, with hearts full of hope and hands ready to help. Months passed since the center opened its doors. What once was an empty mansion had transformed into a lively place filled with hope and warmth. People from the town and nearby villages came to find comfort, friendship, and support. Myra and Mr. Rowan worked side by side, their bond growing stronger every day. The center had classrooms, a small kitchen where meals were shared, and cozy rooms for those who needed rest. The garden bloomed with bright flowers, a peaceful place for quiet thoughts and healing. And everywhere, the spirit of kindness that Amara had started so long ago seemed to live and grow. One bright morning, Myra was walking through the garden when she noticed a small group gathered near the new bench. A little girl was holding a shiny bracelet in her hand. Myra recognized it immediately. It was the same style as hers, with black beads and a silver leaf charm. The girl looked up and smiled shyly. "I found this near the fence," she said softly. "Is it special?" Myra's heart warmed. She knelt down beside the girl and took the bracelet gently. "Yes, it is very special," she said. "It belongs to someone who believes in kindness and hope." She told the girl the story of Amara, the woman who had helped a lost boy many years ago, and how the bracelet was a symbol of love that never ends. The girl listened carefully, her eyes wide with wonder. "I want to be kind like her," she said. Myra smiled. "And you can," she said. "Kindness is a gift we give every day, in small ways that make a big difference." As the girl ran off happily, Myra looked at the bracelet in her hand. It reminded her how far they had come from a forgotten past to a bright future filled with love. That afternoon, Mr. Rowan invited Myra to the study. He had something to show her. On his desk lay a small box, old and worn, tied with a faded ribbon. "It's from Amara," he said softly. "I found it hidden among my old belongings." Myra opened the box carefully. Inside were small notes and drawings, memories Amara had kept, her thoughts about hope, kindness, and the importance of never giving up. One note stood out. It read, "To those who find this box, remember, kindness is the greatest treasure. It cannot be bought or sold, but it can change the world. Hold it close, and pass it on." Myra felt tears in her eyes. She looked at Mr. Rowan. She wanted her kindness to live forever, she said. Mr. Rowan nodded. "And through you and the center, it will." As the sun set behind the hills, they stood by the window, feeling the warmth of a dream fulfilled. The bracelet, the letter, and the center were more than just things. They were a promise kept, a story shared, and a future bright with hope. Later that evening, Myra sat quietly in her room, holding both bracelets. She whispered a thank you to Amara and her mother, feeling their love surround her like a gentle embrace. She knew that the journey was not over. There would be challenges ahead, days when hope felt far away. But with kindness in her heart and the bracelets on her wrist, she was ready to face whatever came. For the bracelet's true gift was not just a memory, it was the power to heal, to connect, and to change lives. And in that truth, Myra and Mr. Rowan found a new beginning, one filled with love, kindness, and the endless promise of tomorrow.